We have a complete project of MetaMask clone. Here you will find all the video in the playlist. So make sure to watch the complete video if you really want to understand. And I have already made a complete video in which I have explained that what exactly you have to do when you will get the final source code. So click here and watch this video till the end. In that everything is explained. But I have to re-record this one more time because one student is not understanding. So I have to re-record it to show you that how you have to do the setup. So once you will download the final source code, this is what you will get. A zip file. Make sure to unzip that, and this is the folder you will get, and this is the folder you have to open in your VS Code. So this is the complete project of the source code, and this is what exactly we have coded in this particular playlist. So make sure to follow this one. Now if I come back here, you can see this is what exactly you will get in the final source code. You will get the asset folder. In that you will find all the images. Then you will get the API folder. In that you will find all the package and the code we have written for the backend API. Then we have the Ether.js, Feb icon, manifest, pop-up, and we have the CSS, in which we have written all the CSS styling code. So to run the project, you have to get your own environment variable. So first thing, you have to get your backend environment variable. So if you come back to the Chrome API, if you go back here in the config, you have to get your own backend database URL and the password, which I have already explained that how you can create your account in database, in the Mongo database, and how you can get your own credential. That's the only changes you have to do. I'll show you how you can do that one more time. That's the one credential you have to get, and you have to come back here in the popup.js, and here we have the RPC URL for these networks. So I have already explained that how you can use as this particular website to get your RPC URL, which I will show you one more time. So make sure to follow the complete project if you really want to understand the logic we have implemented and how everything is working, how the backend is connected. I'm not going to repeat the same thing. Everything is explained in the complete project and in the setup video. So everything's look good. Now we have to get the environment variable. So first let me show you that how you can get the RPC URL for the network. So this particular website we generally use, it's a very powerful platform which allow you to get a RPC endpoint for a different network. So if you come back here, you can see if I want to get the RPC URL for Binance, I can simply click here and it will come back here. So if you want to get for the mainnet, you can simply copy that. If you want to get the testnet, you can simply click and you can copy the URL, and that's what you can provide right up here. So make sure to understand the logic, because that's what we have discussed for the multiple network. So that's how you can get the RPC URL for the different network. You have to go here one by one and you have to copy the URL if you are testing on the test network or if you are doing on the main network. So you have to get the RPC URL. So I hope this is clear. Now let's come back to the MongoDB, and here you have to get your own database password and the URL. So MongoDB is a free platform and it's a powerful platform which allow you to keep the data and save it in your cloud server. So I already have my account. Make sure to create your account. I'll simply sign in. So here I'm into my MongoDB dashboard, and if I click here, you can see I have all of this project which I have created. So to view all your project, you can simply click here and you will come back to this particular section. There you will find all the project which is currently running. So to create a new project, all you have to do is to simply click on this new project, and here you have to provide the credentials. So I can say MetaMask and click on this next, click on this create project, and it's going to create the project. Just wait, and here the project is created. The interface would be different as per the timing you are watching. So maybe they change the interface, but this is the exact thing you have to do, which I'm going to show you to create your own database string. So I click on this create a cluster, and from here you have to simply select your service which you want to use it. So we're going to use the free server, so I can click here, and it's the name of the server is cluster 0. You can pick your data location. So I'm from India, so I'm going to select this AWS Mumbai, and I'm going to keep it as it is because this one is an optional one. Click on this create deployment, and it's going to create your database, and currently we are creating the free one. This will take few seconds, and here you will have the setups which you can do straight away. So from here you will have a couple of options which I will tell you how you can do that. So let's create a username and the password. I'll say MetaMask, and the password is going to be also Mask. And I'm showing you this credential because after this video I'm going to delete this database, so you cannot able to use it. So you have to create your own database. So this is the name, the username, and this is the password. Make sure to remember it because this is what we're going to use it. Simply click on this copy, and that's what you copied successfully. Now click on this choose connection method. Here you will come, sorry my bad, I have to click here in create database user, and here is going to create a database user. Now I can simply click on this choose connection model method, and here you will have multiple methods which you can use to connect, and here you have to select on this access your database driver, and you can simply come back here, and this is the string which you need to provide. So simply copy this one, come back to your code, and that's what you have to provide in your backend API. Here you have to provide. So I'm going to simply replicate it, this two, one more time, and I'm going to simply comment this one, and here I'm going to simply provide the URL. Paste here. So I got the URL and the password is here. I can simply copy this portion, and that's what I can simply provide here, because this is the logic we have built in our server file. And I'm going to simply copy this password section, and that's what I can simply provide here. This is the exact step you have to do. Okay, so you have got your database URL and the password. Now you have to do the network configuration right up here. So I'll simply click on done. So our cluster is created. Now you can come back to the network configuration, and here you have to change the access level in the database. So simply click on, so when you click on this, it's going to allow you to connect with any internet connection, any IP address. So simply click on this confirm, and here it's going to make the changes in your network configuration. So here it's loading. It takes a little bit time, close to 30 seconds. So just wait. So the network is activated. Now you can simply come back to the database, and here you will come and find all the details which the user will create. So we can come back to the browser collection, and here you will find all the collection, all the users which will create their account. So right now we don't have any data. You can simply upload, but we're going to allow the user to create. So we can simply come back to our application. So I'll simply click here. So we got all of this information. We got this, and I hope you guys have got this, because this is the valid URL. You can go with the same one for all of this network. Perfect. Now what I will do, I'll simply close all of this. Now let's test this out without running a backend API. So I'll simply click on this, and I'm going to click on this port 5000. So I'll simply click it, and now if I come back here in the browser and reload the page, you can see the application is working fine. Right now we cannot able to log in or create account because our backend is not running. So we have to start our backend. So everything is looking good. Now what I will do is I'm going to simply start the application. So I'll simply come back here. I'm going to close all of this, and I can come back to the browser section. Again, I can go back to the extension and click on this manage extension. So you will come back to the manage extension section and make sure to turn on this developer mode, and here you will find all the extension which you have installed, and from here you can able to control and upload. So to upload the extension, you can simply click on this packing extension, and you can provide all the external URL, but this is not the method we're going to use it. We're going to use this load unpack, and from here you can simply upload the extension you have. So I have to go into my download, and this is the folder which we have to upload, in which I have the complete code of the project. So I'll simply come back here, select it, and I can pick this called select, and here is going to upload. So it's a extension loaded successfully. You can see this is the extension I already have. I can simply click here, and the extension is reflecting here. I can simply remove, and the extension is removed. Right now I don't have it. So if I want to upload one more time, I can click here, and I can go back to download. I can select this, and I can click on this select, and here the extension is reflecting fine. If I come back here, I can see the extension is there. Perfect. Now I can simply click on this, and it's going to open the extension right here in my browser. I hope you guys know what exactly you have to do, and you can see I'm getting this particular warning. Make sure to reload the page, and still I'm getting this warning. So click on it, and here you will find that this information is not there because our backend somehow is not running. So you don't need to worry about it. We're going to simply understand how we have to deal with this. That's why we are getting this particular warning. Now what we have to do is we can simply close the extension section, and here we have our extension up and running. So I'll simply do one thing. I can simply close this page as well, and I can come back here, and I can simply open this one. I can click the extension right up here. Now we have to simply start our API. Okay, so open up your terminal, and you can simply go into this particular folder. So simply copy particular folder name, and you have to type cd, come here, type cd, and hit the name and hit enter. So right now we are into this particular directory, and now we have to install all of these packages we have right up here. So simply type npm I, and it's going to install all of the packages which we have defined right up here. So we have installed it successfully. Now I'm going to simply clear up the terminal. So this is the command we have to run: nodemon server. So we'll say npm run start, and it's going to start the application on localhost 3000. And you can see, simply ignore this particular warning because I have the latest node version. So if I show you my node version, and let me stop the application, and if I show you my node version, it's this one, the latest one. If I show you my npm version, this is the one I'm using. Okay, so make sure to have the exact one, or if you have the below, there is no problem in that. But if you get any type of error, make sure to have the same node version. I got it. Now I can start the application one more time. So our backend application is started successfully. Perfect. Now you can simply come back here, and I can go back here one more time, click here, go back to the extension section, manage extension, right up there. I can reload the page, and everything is working fine. You can able to have the details. That's all you can find right up here. So I can simply come back here. Now I can simply go back here one more time. I can click on the extension. Now I'm ready to create my account because our database connection is successfully. You can see we got this message that database connection is successfully, and that's what we are connected with now. So what I will do, I can simply come back here in the browser and I can click here one more time, and I have to create my account. So if I have my account, because I don't have any account, so I'm going to do that. So I'll click on this create account. I can call it on create account, and here I have to provide all of these details. I have to give the name, so I'll say Daulat. I can give the email, the Daulat, and I have to give the password, and I have to give the password. Got it? We have provided all of this detail. Now click on this sign up, and here our account is created successfully. You can see we have no issue. We have successfully redirected and we have created our account and we have logged in. I have 0 fund in it. So that's how you can create and use the application. Every single thing is looking fine. I don't know what the problem you guys were having. And if I click here, you can able to see the fund is reflecting here. If you come back to the account section, right now we haven't added any account. So if I want to add my account, I can simply come back here in the MetaMask, and I can simply, so here I'm into my MetaMask account. I can simply copy the address, or I can get the private key, because that's what I have to import to get my account in my crypto wallet. So I can click on the show private key. So what I will do, I can give this 0x and paste this entire private key and click on this import. And you will find the account is imported successfully. You can simply click on this. Right now it's not displaying. You have to simply reopen the browser and click here, and now you can see the account is successfully imported. If you come back here, right now we have this 0 fund. If I click on this, if I click on this particular account, and here it's going to switch, and I have this much fund in this particular account. So everything is working fine. Everything is good. If you come back to your backend database, if you're going to simply refresh, you will find the account, the data is reflecting about the user right up here. So this is the two. I hope you have understood that what exactly you have to do. It's very easy, very simple. I would encourage you to follow the complete project. If you don't understand that how things are working, then it's going to be a very complicated. So make sure to follow the complete project to understand the every single logic we have implemented. It's working absolutely fine. This is the exact thing you have to do. If I come back here, now I can give my credential, and I can give my password, and I can click on login. I'm into my account straight away. If I go back to the account, there you will find the account we have imported. Click here, and there it is. Every single thing is looking fine. I hope you have understood that what exactly you have to do. So this is the exact thing you have to do. Try to follow the complete project. You will understand every single logic. Account. If you want to import any token, you can simply come here and give the name, description, and the addresses of the token. So if I come back here, and here I can simply change my network to, let's say, Polygon. If I go back to my token section, right now I don't have any token, so I cannot able to import. So I don't have any token. So but you have to do exactly the same thing the way I have explained, that how you can import the token, and that's going to be reflect in the asset section. Right now we haven't imported, that's why it's not reflecting. I can give my credential one more time, and I can give the password, and I can log it. Here I am in. You can simply pass the amount and the address to transfer the fund. So for example, that I can come back here and I can switch my account to, let's say, I'll simply copy this address. I can simply copy, and if I come back here and paste, you can see this is the address I have copied. So I'll simply come back here, I can copy the address, and I want to transfer the fund. So I can simply click here, I can select this particular account. I have this much fund. I can click on this send, and I can give the address, and I can give the amount which I want to transfer. So let's say I want to transfer 1 ETH. I have 5. So I can click on this send, and it's going to make the transaction. So it's transferring, and the fund is transferred. You can click here. You can come back to the block explorer. There you will find the details about the transaction and the transaction which you have done. The transaction in the pending state. So click here, and you will see the transaction is in the indexing mode. Once the transaction will complete, and you will find the complete status. You can come back here, and you can simply go back to the previous account. You can see the fund is went to this. Now you can simply log out to get your default account, and here you are, and got 1 Meti. Every single thing is working fine. I would encourage you to follow the complete project if you really want to learn about the crypto wallet, because this is very basic, and I have already explained all of these setups which you have to do right here in this particular video. So that's the only thing I want to talk about. I hope you got your understanding clear that what exactly you have to do when you will get the final source code. So have a wonderful day.